Welcome back. My name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr. I was born July 4th, 1986. I want to say thank you for tuning in. Today, I kind of want to talk about something that I don't know if I usually say this at the end of my videos. So I want to say at the beginning of my video. So it's very, very clear about what it is that I understand when I talk about working with these dogs. Because most cases, that's the best way of saying it. I should have left it. When we're having problems with these dogs, I'm going to straight say this. The dog is not the problem. It's us as the human beings that are the problem. That we're doing something, we're causing something, we're creating something that is acting a fool. And if you don't think that you need to do anything about your own self and change anything that you're doing and get a different idea of what it is that you're actually doing to be able to create what I want to say is some of y'all straight up create that monster that's inside of your home right now. That's just, it's absolute mass chaos. It's not the dog that needs to change. The dog is doing what we are telling the dog to do. And if you believe that someone is going to come in and just fix all your problems and you could just sign a check and just put it off over there and it's going to come back to you, it's just going to be perfectly good to go, you're sadly mistaken. And I hope that everyone that even has a dog, considers to get a dog, and everyone that has a dog that tries to give information to someone else about how to be able to work with this dog, you let them know that right up front. That it's your responsibility, it's your dog. What you do, what you put into it, that's what you're gonna get out of it. And if you do nothing, as far as I don't wanna walk it, I don't wanna exercise it, I don't wanna feed it, the dog's not gonna be alive. And if you're on the other side of doing too much, because the too much side is the side that I've realized we're struggling today. Because dogs have become this like new child. And even, man, some of y'all, the way you treat your dog, you treat your child, you would be in a sticky situation as well, the same way. But some of y'all don't have children and you have the dog, and treating the dog a certain way is going to lead to something of absolute chaos because we're doing too much. And that's the part of it that I believe most people get caught up in, is too much. You're I don't want to say interacting too much. You're interacting too much in an inappropriate way. You're just touching it too much. You're smothering it too much. You're holding it too much. You're feeding it too much. My goodness, how many dogs? I rarely see a dog that's in shape, like not even like athletic shape, but just in shape, just general, like how I am. I'm not like built and cut. I'm just lean. I rarely see that. We're just doing too much to these dogs and giving them too much. We're giving them too much freedom when they don't. It's not, maybe not the word to use, but deserve it. They don't deserve to be able to just run around and get into anything and everything because they're not ready for it yet. They're getting too much. They have too much. They have too much availability to be able to just get into just too much madness. And that too much madness is what, in my opinion, just creates an absolutely savage, ruthless, crazy, psychotic style, pushy, demanding, just mean, aggressive, like just tough dog. Because the dog is able to just get what it wants when it wants, and it doesn't need to look through you to get what it's looking for. And it knows that if it wants something from you, it just takes from you. It doesn't ask you. It just takes from you. And it's something that I believe everyone needs to understand. That's going to be in everyone, always 100% across the board. Nothing in this life is just, we do nothing in a sense of, I don't have to put any work into it and it's going to look good and be good. There's always something that we have to do. And everything that we have in our lives, it's based on what it is that we've done. Nothing happens based on something that you haven't done. And that's the problem that a lot of people, this is a new problem of the 2024 compared to what it was like in the 50s and the 60s. 50s and 60s, in reality, you could work hard. You could work hard at a factory job. You could work hard. You could put the hours in. You could put 70 to 90 hours a week in, and you could do the concept that a lot of people will say. You work hard and your life's going to be good. And that's not true. That's not true. You can work hard and still have absolutely nothing. That's proven today in the 20 of 24. It don't matter how many hours you put in. It's a matter of what you do in those hours to be able to get what you want. So that's something that I can even say simply with grabbing you a dog. You can simply grab a dog and go for a 5-hour walk and think like, I'm doing something. But that 5-hour walk, putting in all that hard work where you're tired, that's exercise to you. That's hard for you to possibly do. But just doing that alone is not going to be able to give you what it is that you think that you should have in the end. This perfect, amazing oasis of having an animal. The same with working hard at you. That's mainly, I'm going to say, is somebody else's work. You're going to work really hard at somebody else's work, and you're not going to have this like fancy house, fancy car, unlimited budget to be able to do what you want to do. That's not the way this world is. And in reality, just my opinion, it never was really set up to be that way. We had an era for a little while that it seemed to be that way, but it's backfiring in reality for us later on in life. Hard work, just dedicated, just working, doesn't work. You need to work in the right direction. And that's what we always need to be focusing on when we're working with just animals, our spouses, ourselves, our kids, everything. Working in the right direction. You can work really hard and be over there and you're just not going to get anywhere. Or you can work really hard over here and you're going to find absolute peace. You're going to find exactly what it is that you were looking for. And you need to be able to figure out how to be able to find what it is that you are looking for. Because I know what I'm looking for. That's why at the end of the day, I might have to make I don't really care, but I might do it anyways. Just, I see some folks' videos. I kind of like it, so I might do it. It's just have a whole little disclaimer thing for the first 5 seconds of my video to say, this is what I do. This is how I like things to be. I'm not saying that you have to do it this way. If you don't do it this way, you're not going to be able to have fun. You're not going to be able to, no, you got to do what you got to do. That's the problems that I see with dog training specific today. And not only just that, but every little industry along here. You got to do it the way that they do it, or you're not with the script. You don't understand how dogs really function because you don't do it the way that I do it. That's the part of me that I push back on, because I understand that there's one thing on this planet that I know for a fact, that nobody and nothing is perfect. Nobody and nothing is perfect. That means there's no single way that one situation is the only way to go. There's no one thing, because no one is perfect. And if we got somebody sitting here, standing here, doing anything, speaking to you on how they have the direct line of this is how it is and this works 100% of dogs, they're a liar. Because there's nothing that is perfect on this planet. Nothing is perfect. Nothing is guaranteed. We can only just keep on working and working and working. But the thing is, again, you need to work at the right stuff as opposed to working at the wrong stuff. Because I run into a lot of, when I get called in to help folks with the dog isn't like, oh, it's jumping. No, the dog bit somebody. Every time. I'm almost at 100% case today. The dog has either bit somebody or it's bit another dog, that the dog it's not just this little brush off. It's got $4,000-$5,000 worth of surgery it's got to get done to be able to bring that dog back. It's serious stuff. I don't know who other dog trainers are getting called for this other stuff. Like, how do I get my dog to stop jumping on me? I don't get those calls. I get a call because somebody is already bit. And it's more than likely because I've been in this scenario my own self. I've been in a scenario that I'm like, what do I do here? Because my dog just bit me. My dog bit me in the face. One of my dogs bit me in the arm. I've been bit by dogs. And I know how to be able to get through this based on working in the right direction as opposed to another direction. And this direction is my direction. May not be your direction, but it's my direction. And my direction may work for a lot of people. Because all I do, even when someone calls me and asks me for assistance, I give recommendations. I don't tell you what you have to do. I say, hey, you're doing this, maybe we should just try this instead. If you're like, no, I like still doing this. And I'm like, okay, well, just that's the part of me of saying, then you are cool with that part of what's going on. You don't actually want help in that way. Not saying that that's the only way, but saying that that's my recommendation of being able to see how to be able to get some help. Because I see this a lot, where we're doing too much in the wrong direction, in the sense that we're petting the dog, giving it too much treats. We're doing too much. We're just smothering the dog, because the main language I hear people say is, I'm loving my dog. I'm showing my dog love. I'm showing my dog love. And going directly into that is creating something that is not of love. And it's not for me to, for you to just me to say to you, it's like, hey, you got to cut all that and you're going to have a nice dog. I can say that, yeah, you may, but you may not have the dog that you actually are looking for. Because that's me. I started restricting and cutting and taking everything away and realizing, Oriole, you're going to knock my camera over, man. And realizing that I wasn't getting the dog that I wanted based on other people's information. So for me, straight up, all I care for is I do not want a dog barking at other dogs in public or even on my property in reality. I don't really care too much out here, but still, I limit it. I don't let them, but I don't have much. I got a dog. I got 2-3 dogs around that I'm just like, just leave them alone. I do not want my dogs barking outside of the house when they're in the house. I don't want them barking at anything. Because I've got complicated stuff. I got cows that are always in the windows. I got the donkey. I got a lot of stuff in the windows. I don't need you up active looking out the windows. Things that I'm just going to explain what it is that I like for my dog. I do not like my dog ever on leash barking at another dog, barking at another person. I do not ever like my dog ever pulling to another dog, pull into another person. I do not ever like my dog chasing wildlife, wild animals on leash or even off leash with that one. Or as far as like even meeting people, even off leash. I don't ever want my dog to meet people unless I say so, unless they come up to me in reality. I don't ever let them chase. I don't ever let them to just, that's about it for me. They got to be calm, polite, and pretty when I take them places. That's what I'm looking for. And they got to be calm, polite, and pretty in the house. They're not jumping on my counters. They're not taking my food. They're not going crazy. They could jump on the couch whenever they want. I don't care. You don't need to ask permission to that. They could jump on the bed if they want. I don't care. You don't need to ask permission for that. You can go to the freezer and stand there and say, hey, you know, I don't want a snack, and I'll make a decision, yes or no. I don't care if they ask for that. But it's coming said through me. They're not just going to go and take it. They can't just go take food whenever they feel like it. They can take a bone and get a bone. I don't care if they chew on a bone. Is everyone's just sharing one right now, right here? I don't care. As long as I can see and verify what's going on. I don't care. And for someone else, there's a lot in there that you're like, I don't care about that. You know, I'm cool with this. I'm cool with that. I don't care about this. And that's for each of us to figure out what it is that we are looking for and we are desiring. But there's always going to be something. Always going to be something. Always something. Something here that I'm going to say that a lot of people don't like to hear, but I just have to say it because it just is what it is. If you want a change in your dog, you're going to have to do some things that are going to be uncomfortable for you. Some little things are going to be uncomfortable. You're going to say, oh man, I really like to be able to do this, but you're going to notice little things because each dog is different. Some dog, it's the pet and praise and you're doing too much and it actually doesn't even want you to pet it. Some dogs, it's giving it too much food, too much treats. Some dogs, it's just what it is. And when I start to explain to stop doing each of these things, it's not to say just cut your dog off dry. It's to like test and see which one here is actually the cause of the problem. Something that's going on is a problem. And that something that's going on is, unfortunately, folks, this is just life. The one that you like the most is more likely the culprit, is more likely the problem that's actually going on. The one that you're just like, I can't go without petting my dog. I'm not going to tell you not to pet your dog, but I'll give a recommendation. If you want to see a change, this is a recommendation of things that we can work on to see a change. And in reality, the one that I like people to start with first is the one that just really gets in you. Some of y'all, you just can't go without, you see the dog with its little eyes looking at you, you're just like, I got to give it a treat. I got to give it a treat. You're hooked on that. And that may be the main issue you got going on with your dog, why it's just being a spoiled brat right now, why it's being so pushy right now, why it's starting to corner you in your own house and not let you into your own kitchen, and it's starting to chew on you and chew on other people because it wants that treat from you. And some of y'all, it's petting the dog too much. And it's just, there's an unlimited thing here. And that's for us to have a self-reflection of looking at our dogs and seeing what's going on if you want to change. If you're cool with everything going on with your dog, keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. As long as this is your life. It's not mine to put upon you to tell you how you should live. We've done this stuff in past history and we saw how destructive and how chaotic it is to have one ruler try to tell everybody how they need to be, what they could drive, what school they could go to, what they could learn, what they could do, everything about them. We can't do that. We can't do that. And we should never be about that. We should never be about a situation that I know it all and this is it. The way I work my dogs, that's it. That's how you have to do it. Because I'm back now, back Dalmatian, back on leash again. Because I just want to fine tune some things to make it much, much simpler in my future. I don't like having to have her on leash when I'm out, and it slows me down like crazy. It really hinders me because I just move. I got to get stuff done. I'm carrying buckets, I'm carrying a leash, and I'm just like, this is a drag. But it's something that I have to do that I want to do. I don't have to do nothing. I can do whatever. But something that I want to do to be able to have a more simpler, peaceful life, as opposed to kind of just a little having to say a name more than I want. Because the other dogs, I don't ever have to say names to. I know we're good. But her, sometimes I have to like, hey, where is she right now? I don't want to do that. I don't want to live in that. So for me, I'm putting a restriction on my own self and adding more work to my own self to get more of what it is that I'm looking for. And that's what I want. That's what I'm looking. That's what I desire. And for you, you're like, you know, I don't really care. I don't really care for it to be like that precise. I'm cool if the dog is just a little away and doing what it's doing. I'm fine with that. And it's just what I'm looking for. And when someone comes in and says, you have to do it like this is the only way to clarity. This is the only way to be able to get what you're going to want. That person is foolish. That person doesn't understand that, for one, they're not perfect. And if they think they are, that's like a huge red flag to me. This is the only way. This is it. If you don't do it like this, your dog's going to be trash. It's always going to be aggressive. It's always going to want to bite. I have yet to go to a single person's house today that with a dog that's trying to bite people and have to put any sort of pressure upon that dog to convince that dog not to do that. And I watch week after week the dog stop doing it. How is that possible? How is that possible? If there's only one way to do it and I'm not doing it that one way. And I'm watching a dog start to just flourish, start to just be more expressive, start to be more open, start to be just more the main thing that I say to folks up front is you think your dog, I'm going to use this word, and it's not the appropriate word that I believe is there, but it's just what we understand, which is love. We think our dogs love us. But when I start to show you some stuff and just get you to open your eyes up about what's actually going on here, you realize, heck, my dog didn't love me. But my dog is now starting to. My dog before was just demanding, pushy, just ruthless in reality. And I thought that was love. And I'm like, that's the problem that we as humans have. That a lot of us, unfortunately, this is straight up, why our divorce rates is pushing past 50, 60, 70% today. Because for some reason, we think that this toxicity is love. Because we can feel the emotions, we are everything in our body, we get the bubbles in our stomach, and we get all this. It's the toxicity that we fall in love with, not that actual person. And when we fall into toxic love, we're going to run into problems, extreme problems. And extreme problems in a human-to-human relationship, you know, most cases it turns to some sort of really bad abuse, physical and mental. And it's the exact same stuff that happens to the dogs with us. We run into a physical or mental. The dogs are physically biting us, physically biting other people. Mentally, they're pushing you around and doing crazy stuff because you're having a toxic relationship. Not one that's based out of love and compassion and true love, true caring about the animal actually caring about you. That's not what's going on in unfortunately most cases. And straight up, just straight up, this is something I can say about my own self to just be honest. I've had a lot of most cases I'm going into a relationship with girls, women. It's been bad. It's been like chaos. It's been like just torturous. And then when I started to get dogs, and I was like, you know, I'm just not dating. There's something wrong here. And for a while, in reality, all these girls are all bad. They're all no good. They're all messed up. And then I started to realize, like, the dogs are the same way with me. I literally like laid down, had a revelation of like, dang, my border collie treats me the same way that my old wife did. And it's just like, what the heck is going on here? And then I realized I fell in love with that toxicness, not the actual like wanting to find peace and have clarity. I fell in love with toxicness. And that toxicness started to express and started to show and it started to grow and it started to turn into a plague and it started to just get destructive, extremely destructive. And I just didn't know how to get out of that. So for me, I got more, in my opinion, you know, to someone else, you putting hands on, applying physical touch to, doing things like that, you're cool with that. But for me, I'm not cool with that because straight up, I grew up with that. And I wasn't cool with on the other side of that, being someone that's just didn't have a choice in the matter and just was just, you have to or else. I didn't like that. So I'm not going to put that on something else. So then I had to come up with a whole different way to be able to figure out what it is that I'm looking for. And then in reality, I found it for me. And I also realized that a lot of other people, you also are in the same style of thinking that I am. That's a cool thing about us as humans. You know, there's not many, I mean, science goes deep with understanding that the certain personalities of us. There's a lot of us that are just super similar. So someone out there that thinks I could just spank my kid every day to get it to do right, me and you, we're different personalities. And it doesn't mean that you're wrong or I'm wrong. It just means that we're different personalities of people and you just do what you do over there and I'm going to do what I do over here. But the problem happens when you try to come over into my section and tell me that, oh, I have to do this or I'm not going to be able to get anywhere. That's a huge issue because I don't. I got to do it with how my personality fits because it's not like someone who is like me that works with dogs has always never been able to have a dog because I'm a more permissive style person, which is crazy to me of knowing that in reality, that's how I became based on how I was raised. I didn't go double down into authoritarian style. I grew into something completely different because it didn't work. And I'm a living example of it not working because I got stories that I could tell about how I know it doesn't work. And I lived that life. And then I started to apply that life to dogs and my children and my spouses and my girlfriends. And I realized it's not even who I am. And it's something that it works until it doesn't. And for me, it just didn't work. because it's not a representation of what I want to be able to be on this planet. And because I'm a permissive person doesn't mean that all my stuff and every bit of information I'd be able to give to people to try to get help with their animals and your dogs, you're not going to get any help. That's ridiculous. That's my personality. And people that watch me, we all have pretty much the same style personality. Some folks are just, you come in and you're just like, oh, it's super, super soft and you're so passive and there's no way, that's your personality. Your personality stays over there. And in reality, you're going to watch one video and that's it. You're just going to keep going and find people that have your personality. And the biggest thing is that's strange and the coolest to me, just me, how I am. I listen to people that are completely against what it is that I am to learn, to figure out more. When someone just says something, I'm just like, that can't be right. There's no way that's right. I double down into researching about them, to learning more about them. I watch other people that talk the same way that they talk. I go deep into that. Man, I went deep into all the YouTube channels that are just, I hate dogs. Dogs are disgusting. Dogs should be eradicated off the planet. We should just kill them all. If I see a dog and it's looking, I'm just going to shoot the dog. I went deep, because I'm just like, wow, I really like these animals. And then I listen to the people that are like, if I ever see your dog, I'm going to shoot it in the face. And I'm like, buddy, that's extreme. But they think of me as extreme. They think of me as like crazy. Like, how do you have all of these dogs? That's insane. How could you do that? So I look and I pay attention to both. That's not what I'm going to say is normal. Most of us don't do that. We like to stay with what sounds good to us because it makes us feel comfortable. And the main thing I want to say here is you can and you will get the results you're looking for without having to change who you are, your personality. Your personality, you just need to understand your personality and double down into it to be able to get what it is you're looking for. Again, the hard work aspect. If you're doing hard work into who you are going to flourish. But if you're doing hard work into something else that someone else is trying to put on you, you're going to stumble. You're just not gonna make it. You may have a little bit of slim of success, but you're gonna fail, unfortunately, because it's not who you are. It's not who you are. And this is the part that I think that people just, a lot of y'all get confused because you come into people's stuff and think like, there's no way that someone can get anything. Like straight up. I don't know why, but I just don't have anything where I'm just like, you're wrong, no one listen to. Because, I got a guy now that's just attacking everything about me like he's the only way that's right. And I kind of almost want more people to go and see what it is that he does. Because when you watch it, straight up, folks, because when I watch it, because I never recorded myself doing stuff that I used to do with these dogs. But he's doing stuff that I used to do with these dogs. And when I see it, it don't work for me. It makes me sick to my stomach. It actually makes me a little like, I kind of want to I get a little mad in reality. Like, how would you treat a dog like that? But to him, that's normal. And I'm not here to say that you're wrong. That's your personality. Your personality, keep doing that, keep going in that. The same with man, a lot of people just, I don't know why, but I always see the good in everybody. I see the positive in it all. I don't really see the negative anymore today. That's a huge change, I guess I could say, that's happened to me. The more of a believer I became, the more I only see the good, because there's bad in it all. There's bad in me. There's negative in me. There's evil in me. There's all of that all around all of us. But I'm trying to not just ignore that it's there, but understand that I need to focus more on the good aspects to push that out. And that's how you're able to really get what it is that you are looking for. But all these trainers, they're doing what they do. That's their personality. It's an interesting thing of seeing all the trainers, especially just go down to everyone that's got 1 million subscriber type trainers on YouTube right now. They are all different persons. If you get the personality book, because a real good book is that 48 Laws. And you start reading, that book is thick though, but you're going to be listening or reading that for a little while. But you'll see all the different personalities of all these trainers. They all are for a specific audience. There's somebody for that audience. And that's what's cool about this YouTube and the Rumble and the Instagram and the TikTok and all this today, because we are able to all put more information out. As opposed to before, it was 2 or 3 different TV shows and TV channels. I don't know how many TV channels. There was maybe 20 or so when I was a little baby child. There wasn't a lot there wasn't a lot of selection. And whoever owned the media thing, they pretty much that's their personality. So they're playing stuff that's trying to force all of us into this is how we should be. All the old school family movies and TV shows and stuff. It's this is how a family should be. And it's no, our family's like this instead. And that's what's neat about what we got today. Man, especially my farming videos I like watching. Some of y'all are like, we got the guns, we strapped up, we shooting, we doing this. And I'm like, that's not my personality. And some of y'all are like, I just like hanging and relaxing and petting my animals. That's me. That's it. So I'm like, bam, I found where I am. And we're not having issues when we just double down and go hard into what it is that we do. That's what's so cool about this planet. That I don't need to adopt someone else's personalities to have success on this planet. I could be me. I could be my own self. But I need to work hard in being me and understanding that there's going to be some challenges that if I want to change things that I don't like. You have to change a little bit of what's going on with what you're double downing into. And when it comes down to an animal, it's simple. It's simply, I'm going to say, like, it's more likely a few little things that we work on. It's too much affection, too much freedom, too much treats and food and stuff. Like, those three things are three things to really pay attention to. And me, the one that gets everyone is the one that is just the hardest for you. It's the hardest for you. And most of y'all, it's the petting. If you would refrain from touching that dog for a little bit, you'll see as the dog starts to change. It's not going to be so demanding. It's not going to be so pushy. It's not going to want to chew on people. It's not going to want to bite people. It's going to slow down. It's going to slow down because it's not getting what it used to get to keep feeding into that. There's something that we have to, it's us. We have to change. The dog doesn't need to change. The dog's going to change when we change. And it doesn't mean that you need to change from, oh my goodness, I'll never be able to this. It means that you need to refrain from something for a second. And it doesn't mean that you got to go down to, I need to be authoritarian now. I need to start whooping and spanking and beating and lashing and yelling and going into that. You don't need to go that route because that's not your personality. You're not going to be able to keep up with that. And you're going to make things get worse in your life. Because a more authoritarian person, they like when stuff that they're around is like in reactive mode. They like when it's just like, it's quick, it's fast. It's like, oh, I'll be there. They like that it doesn't have any talk back. They like that it submits to everything that they say. That's who they are. And you're not going to change that out of them. It's who they are. It just is what it is. And there's no reason for any of us to even think to try to change someone like that. You don't change them. They're going to do what they do, and they're going to do stuff to you that just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to you. And that's why you need to just stay with who you are. That's the coolest thing that I've just come to realize being on this planet. That we are all who we are. And we do not need to change our personality to get what it is that we're looking for on this planet. We need to double down into who we are and really understand who we are to be able to get what it is that we're looking for. And that's the thing that, again, everyone has this, it's only like this, it can only be this way. I will never say to somebody, the only way that you are going to, because someone on an authoritarian side, you will get zero results from what it is I talk about doing with these dogs. Zero. I've said this in a video before, I'm going to say it again. If you are authoritarian and you listen to me, you are going to get zero results from your dogs because I do not align with that personality type. I do not align with that kind of a being. That's not what I do. That's not who I am. It's not in my best interest. I can't even stand it. It's just not what I'm about. So if you come in and think, and that's the problem, that these guys and these girls come in and they'll come to me saying, oh, that's not going to, yeah, it's not going to work for you. But for someone else who's like-minded like me, this stuff's going to work. Because I like to do stuff with my dogs. I like to go places with them. I like to have fun with my dogs. I like to relax with my dogs. I like to enjoy my dogs. I like to play with my dogs. I like to just do a lot of things that a more authoritarian style person doesn't do. They just like stuff. They're a stuff collector for the most part. They got items. They got to have the nicest car, the best looking spouse, the kids got to go to the best schools. They got to have the best clothes, the best watch. They got to have stuff. I don't care about that. I care about my relationships looking good. So if that means that it's going to take me more time, because again, what I talk about and what I do takes more time. It's going to take more time to be able to get that. I am 100% on board with that because that fits with who I am. And that's why I would want more people to just really kind of understand these concepts here. When someone over there is saying, oh, I know how to fix your stuff in 5 minutes. Yeah, they know how to fix it for how they like it, not for how you like it. You like your things in a different way. And that means that we need to alter something a little bit to get our way with the way that we want to go, not go a completely different way. That's where we're going to keep on struggling. Oh, Johnny, all done. You had your chance. You chewed it twice. It's his time now. It's just like right there. The dogs are looking at each other like, it's my bone. You know, I purposely set one down to have everyone get a turn so that we're not fighting over this. But sometimes one of the dogs is kind of like, I still want more. You can't take it from me. And it's for me to say, you know what? No, I'm not going to allow that. Everyone's getting a turn right now. And that's, I would say slightly dangerous for most folks in your house and what you're doing. But for me, I'm going to spend a lot of time on making sure that I can have one nice, beautiful, juicy bone and all the dogs. Everyone's always talking about all these, oh, I got an intact male, as if like that's something special today. All my dogs, or except Johnny. Man, too bad he got his balls cut off. But I put them all here and all just, we're doing what we're doing. And I want to be able to keep that peace with what it is that I'm doing. And I'm going to do that in a way that I'm not going to be, I don't know what word to use there other than just the word that I was thinking of, but I don't want to be ruthless. I don't want to be demanding. I don't want to have to apply corrections and punishment to be able to keep the peace. That's who I am. That's how I work. But someone else would listen to me say that and they'll say, there's no way. Because you don't understand that at all. And it's not for you to understand. It's not for you to get. It's for you to just keep doing what you're doing and work and what can I say? Supply your audience with the way that you view things, and those people will keep on flocking towards you. But when we're trying to like go into different straight up worlds, you're gonna be hurting. You're gonna be talking to somebody that doesn't care at all about what you have to say and who you are. They don't care. They don't want to change. They don't want to do nothing to what you do because it's not who they are. And many people try to do this to me. This is how you need to be, Anthony. This is how you need to be, Mark. This is what you need to do, DeBose. And I'm like, no, that's not who I am. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And I'm going to find the people that are getting success, being the way that I am, and I'm going to start to follow them. That's what I did with these dogs. There's lots of people that are doing this. The trust technique. The lots of people. The man, Mr. And is it French? Yeah, James. Yes, I should know that. But watching other people that have been through his course and putting videos out here and watching them. I'm like, these guys are on board with who I am, what I represent. And they're getting results. They're getting success. There's a lot of guys that are working with crazy looking stuff and they're able to get the dogs to relax down. That's me. That's my lane. And I've created a channel to be able to bring that same people like me into saying this stuff works for who we are, how we are. That's what's most fascinating about YouTube. 95, this is the thing that I think a lot of people, y'all get nervous about trying to start channels and do stuff like this. But 95, because you get the bad comments, the comments that are just like, some comments go crazy. They go deep, man. It's fascinating. But that's different personalities over there. And it has to happen. But like 90 to 95% of the people are going to agree with you. And that's what has to keep happening. Like Zach George, 3-point-something million people agree with who and what he does. They agree with him. He has to be there. Mr. Dog Daddy, he's got, I don't even know, I haven't looked it up now, but he's probably got 4 million at this point. Agree with him. They're like, this is how we think, this is how we do, this is what we do. But now when you try to get each going back and forth with each other, that's silly. That's a fight that no one needs to even try to get into the middle of in reality. Because there's people that think that way and believe that way, and that's just who they are. And it's not for me to try to even change them if they don't want to change. Because I can say that I know a different way, that I don't have to go that like extreme with certain things. But that's only if you want it. If you don't want it, I'm not going to hold you down and tell you that that's what you have to do. That's the problem that I see in the dog stuff today. But not only that, but with other things. But the dog stuff, that there's a group of people that are, well, you could say activists that want everyone to shut it all down. That's not going to work in a healthy. I mean, it's going to work, unfortunately, but it's not the way to go. That's not the way to do it, because their personality is who they are. They are how they are. You're not going to change who they are. They're just, if you take a prong and an e-collar away, they're just going to go back to hitting them with sticks, because that's how they used to do it. They used to, before the e-collar too much, they always had a prong for a long while, but they didn't really have an e-collar much. They used to use sticks. You read the Conrad Most book. He says, especially making sure to hide the stick. Keep the stick behind, so when you hit the dog, you hit the stick. It doesn't realize it came from you. It's like the beginnings of e-collar work. Hit the dog before it realizes that you hit it. So it just is like, oh, what was that? What's going on? So it just fixes itself. Throw chains at the dog. All they're going to do is go back to those methods. It's not like anything is going to change. They're going to go back to whips and throwing chains. I mean, there's many videos right now you can watch of people throwing chains. The stuff, it works the same way as an e-collar, straight up. It works the same way. And they're just going to go to those methods instead again. So it's not like anything is going to change, anything is going to happen, because they're how they are. Those people are the way that they are. I'm the way that I am, and most people that watch me, we are the same, similar type of way. We look at dogs the same type of way. Because someone could say, I could never have my dog off leash without an e-collar. My level of being with how I am states that I can do that. But your level of being states that you can't do that. It doesn't mean that either of us are wrong. It means that both of us are just doing what it is that we can do based on who we are. Because for me, again, I spend a lot of time with my dogs. Most people do not spend nowhere a fraction amount of time that I do with my animals. So that's why with me, I'm capable of doing things that I feel confident and comfortable with that someone else could say, I could never do that. You take your dog out to the lake like once a week, once every other week, where I do that almost daily. And it's much different when you're doing stuff like that almost daily. You're going to get and have a whole different level of understanding with that animal. So things that I do are based on what I want to put into it. I want the dog because, for one, straight up, not my first dog, but my first dog being out here for sure. I got a dog to help me do my work, to get stuff done. So I already was like, this dog is going to be with me a lot. It's going to be around me a lot. It's smothering me because it's helping me with my work. I want my dog every time I'm in the main field to be with me. He's got to be there with me. I want my dog every time I'm going for a drive to be with me. You're with me, buddy. Unless I got to go somewhere and I got to be in for hours and hours, it's like, I'm sorry, buddy, you got to stay at the house. But everywhere and everything I'm doing out here, if I got food to feed in my hands, I want my dog with me. My dog is with me. He's with me for hours and hours and hours throughout the day. And that alone right there, you can have a similar dog and do similar things as me, but if you don't have that level of like time into it, you're not going to be able to get that exact same thing, I guess I can say. I have a lot of time in what I do, but that's who I am with how I look at my dog. My dog is something with me. It's not just I got it because it's the thing to do. You know, I got a house, I got a wife, I got kids, I need a dog now. No, I didn't get a dog like that. I got a dog to have fun with and to make my life easier, to be able to do stuff with. And that's going to come to a completely different scenario. So even me with being in my personality, we still span into different parts of that same personality. So for me, I'm the one that's like, I want to spend more time. Where someone else, I don't really want to spend that much time, but I like what you say, Mark. That's the differences of time frames, I guess I'm going to say. Some of us are going to be able to get things to look really good in a couple days, couple weeks, compared to someone else, it could take you a couple of years. For me, I'm still slow. I like, again, back on leash with this Dalmatian. Back on leash. So I've had her like 9 months now, 10 months. So like the first 6 straight months, she was on leash everywhere for the most part. And then I gave her a little bit. But then I realized I gave her straight up too much freedom too soon. A little bit too soon. Something that I enjoy, being able to let them do what they do, I have to now dial it back and do something that I'm a little uncomfortable with right now. I want her to be able to go and run with Oreo, run with Johnny right now. But no, she's stuck with me because I want to dial in some more stuff because she's getting a little bit more pushy than I want it. So I'm taking more time, taking a lot more time. So probably the next, I don't know how long, but probably a couple of months. This is just her new life again, straight up. And it's something that I have to do that I don't feel comfortable with, but I know I got to do to be able to get what I want. And it doesn't mean that I need to now put a prong collar on her to get what I want. I got to put an e-collar on it. No, I just have to do what I'm comfortable with in my lane of who I am, the type of person that I am. I'm a more person that is going to be very slow to anger, a person that's going to be very slow to punishment and corrections, a person that is just very slow, if not even ever get to a point like that. Because when you're very slow to it, you can come up with another way to be able to do what you need to do. And that's who I am. And the people that, most cases, 95% of y'all that watch me, you are also that exact same way. And if you're not, you're trying to figure out how to be able to get to that point. Because I'm going to tell you now, being quick to anger, there's nothing fun and exciting about that. It's about being patient. It's about being forgiving. It's about being compassionate. It's about having self-control. That's a beautiful way to live on these lands. I don't care who you are on the spectrum of what your personality is. But all of us have that. That's the core in the middle, then we all branch out. We all need to have that. And that's how we'll have healthy, non-toxic relationships. But most cases, toxic relationships happen because we're quick to anger. I said, no, I said, come here, you better get here. If you're slow to anger and you have an e-collar on your dog and you're using it out of a way to actually teach and not just be angry, you are going to get pretty good results. Straight up. I just know that that's a fact. Anything that you do, you're going to get good results. If you are slow to anger, you are not frustrated, you are not doing it out of man, what is that word right there? Trying to get back. I don't know what word to use in that. But basically trying to, that tit for tat. If you're just doing it in a way of, it sounds messed up, but I understand it. being kind, being caring. You can be caring and apply punishment. You can. But most cases, unfortunately, that's not what happens. We apply punishment out of frustration. We apply it out of anger. We apply it out of a lack of being self-controlled. And that's where we're going to have problems across the board. That's why every single personality, I don't care how and what way you look at it, you are going to be able to get the results that you are looking for. But understand, if you're having a dog right now or a spouse right now or a child right now that is just acting a fool, it's selfish, it's crazy, there's something that you need to change within your personality to be able to get better. Do not change who you are, what your personality is, to think that that's going to work. Thank you. Hey. I guess the main thing I see when I work with this Dalmatian of keeping her locked up with me right now is, I say locked up, straight up. I don't know how else to say it. She's not like sad or anything. She's not really butthurt. It's me. I am. I'm putting that on her. She's actually, in reality, more interested in wanting to be close to me. But dogs are dogs, and they just get into stuff. And they get into stuff in ways that they're dogs, folks. And even a small baby child, what is the first thing a little baby does? Picks something up and sticks it in their mouth. You got to stop them from doing that. They can't do that. And they're gonna do what they do. And just like there, he's like, I gotta go see that baby calf. I want to go see it. And Mama is like, heck no, dude, you're not gonna come and see this baby calf. And he's a dog, but he stays safe, so I don't really care about him too much because he's not tough. You know, he can't do nothing. He just gets scared and has to run away. But it's me that gets in my feelings, I guess I could say, because I'm like, oh, she must be sad because I got her on leash with me again. When in reality, she's not. She's more content. She's more relaxed. She's calming more down, even more, because she doesn't have to decide like too many options. You give them too many options, you're fumbling. That's the problem with a lot of folks when you're first trying to find some help. For instance, on the YouTube with dog training, there's too many options. There's way too many options. If you stick to the option that is who you are, that personality types, y'all stick together. And or you find someone that you're just like, I like how they are. I like how calm they are. I like how consistent they are. I like how just patient they are. And because that's me when I was watching a lot of my, pastors and ministers and stuff, trying to learn more. I gravitate more towards the guys that are way more patient and way more just the way they speak. It's not so much of like, you're going to hell, you're gonna die, you're gonna this. I didn't resonate with that. But some people do. Other folks do. You resonate with like, if I don't act right, I'm gonna die tonight. They're gonna kill me. I'm gonna go lake of fire and this and this. Some of y'all relate to that. I just didn't relate to that. I related to the other side of it. And in reality, listening and watching and seeing and being around a lot of these men, I'm like, that's the kind of man that I want to be. Not only just changing from who I am with my personality, but I realized like that's a powerful man right there. And I was like, that's me. That's what I'm want to strive to be to. Where someone else could see a guy like, I don't want to use names like that. I don't care. Far enough in this video. You aspire to be a man like Trump. You want to be like that. A more straight up authoritarian style man. A man that says what he's I'm done. I don't care what I got to do. I'm gonna get done. I don't care whose toes I got to step on. I'm gonna get it done. And a lot of people aspire to that. You aspire to you're like, that's amazing man right there. That's not me. That's not who I am. I aspire to be the man on the complete other side in reality. Not a man that's just a pushover. Anything can happen. Anybody can do anything to. But a man that's just different. Very different. And that's the coolest thing on why I believe I'm able to, for one, get success. But I would hope to be able to give information so others could be able to have that same level of success that I am able to find with my stuff. People can always say what I do isn't going to work. But yet, when I am with my dogs, when I am hanging out with my dogs, when I am anywhere near interacting with my dogs, I enjoy the all heck can be out of my dogs. I don't care what anybody's got to say. I would want my dog. I would do this. I love is a word I can use, but I don't like using because it's not correct. But I really, really, really like and have fun and enjoy all of my dogs like no other. I like being able to just grab a leash, take them anywhere, do whatever I want. I absolutely enjoy it. So for me, what I talk about and the results that I'm able to get, I am like super giddy excited with how my Johnny has been transforming, and he's just hangs with me, and he wants he looks at me and says, "Hey man, what are you doing? What are you about to do?" I am getting the most ultimate premium results possible I could ever get by figuring out what type of said method I'm going to use to be able to get my dogs to get in a better place. I am extremely ecstatic. It is the most enjoyable thing for me. And I'm not saying that and shutting the camera off and just acting a fool. And no, I enjoy everything. It's cool to me. There's times that I got to do things and I'm like, I got to get the leash. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't really like that, but there's some stuff we just got to do. We got to do some things. But just being able to see the differences of how I am with them, it is the most enjoyable thing that I'm a part of. And I found what works for me with how to work with these dogs. I found it. I found my lane of how I'm able to have the dog that I want. And I'm not just only this one-off person. There's many people that also, y'all all are looking for the same thing that I like. And we can all get what we like if we do what we are comfortable and willing and wanting to do with our dogs. Let me take that comfortable out. Some things are going to be a little uncomfortable up front. But that's the part of living and growing up and just dealing with what we got. A lot of us, we don't want to have to eat, but no, I should take that back. Most people love eating. That's a hard thing. But some of us don't like eating. Some of us don't like to have to cook and have to do that, and you have no choice. You got no choice. You have to do it, or you're not going to survive. You got to make it happen. Some of us don't like I don't know, some things that we just don't like, but you have to do it. You don't get a choice. It just is what it is.